Happy Sunday, Patriots. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Enjoy a nice dinner with your family. Nice weather in Michigan today. It's supposed to get in the 30s again. Went through a little bit of a chill, squeaky snow. If you don't know what that is, you've never been cold or in cold weather. It doesn't bother me. I'm acclimated to it. So, folks, have you heard the phrase, not worth a continental? Because our government is making our dollars not worth a continental. So I have a couple articles here. I will share these as a pinned comment. You can read the full articles. I'll just hit the highlights. So when the War of the American Colonies against the British Crown broke out in 1775, the money supply of the colonies consisted of about $10 million in gold and silver coins, specie, they referred to it as. The taxation was difficult for the newly formed Continental Congress, and its credit was shaky. The new government turned eagerly to the printing press, sound familiar? To finance its military expenditures and issue $2 million of paper to be redeemable, dollar for dollar in specie. In need of money quickly at the start of the emergency, Congress intended to print only this initial amount. The idea was to collect taxes and redeem the credit money between the years of 1779 and 1782. But a clamor arose for more and more issues of paper money. The public's confidence in the currency remained strong, and the government had apparently financed its expenditures with no visible harmful effects. The public seemed to enjoy the bonanza of new money. As a result, the Continental Congress stepped up the paper money issues. The result was a steady depreciation of the paper dollar, the Continental. Prices rose rapidly, and Continentals fell in value as compared to the specie dollar, real gold and silver. The Congress issued $6 million of Continentals in 1775, and the issues increased each year. 140 million were issued in 1779. As prices rose, the government found it needed more and more dollars to finance its expenditures. More money was printed. This added supply of dollars led to further depreciation and the infamous spiral of inflation. They went into hyperinflation. At the outset, the Continental had circulated at par with the dollar specie. By 1780, over 100 continental dollars were required to exchange for one specie. It used to be 1 for 1, right? Congress had printed continentals until they were worth almost nothing. Hence, not worth a continental. George Santayana, I think I'm sure, I know it is, said, those who don't learn from the past are condemned to repeat it. So there's a great little paragraph here at the end of this article. A courageous American contemporary wrote a fitting epitaph to the continental dollars. It becomes, rulers, to learn from the catastrophe of our continental currency, that money is upon a footing with commerce or religion. They all refuse to be the subject of law. It becomes the rulers of free men to learn further that money is property, and that the least attempt to lessen its value in our pockets and chest is taxing us without our consent. It is the highest act of tyranny. We have tried every art and device to keep up the credit of paper money except one. We have never yet tried the effects of being honest. It's a great thing. Printing our currency, overprinting our money, is taxation without our consent. It's number 15, by the way, I believe 15 in our grievances on the Declaration of Independence. Taxation without representation. And folks, listen to this. I went on the debt clock real quick to get the math. U.S. money supply in 2000, so 23 years ago, $4,688 billion. Today, printing, 21,337 billion. Currency and credit derivatives in 2000, 88 trillion. Today, $645 trillion. So not only were we overprinting our money, which was what really drove the hyperinflation, but also the British were counterfeiting our money and bringing in pallets of it to flood the colonies with even more printed money. So we had our own government printing it, and then we had our enemy printing it. And that's been going on too, folks. North Korea's printed money to flood out on the market, and we keep getting better and better with these securities, you know, the watermarks and all that stuff. But with AI coming, you know, it's not going to get any easier. So so what pulled us out of this collapse of our currency at the end of the revolution was, of course, Dr. Benjamin Franklin secured a loan from France, and John Adams arranged a loan from the Dutch to help rescue our country. Who's going to rescue us today, folks? So let me load the cart up with wood. We're doing really good on wood this year, by the way. Firewood. It's been such a mild winter. Hang on, let me grab the camera. We had that blizzard of a snowstorm, and I thought, oh boy, here we go. It's going to be like the winter of '78. I knew it. It's going to be biblical winter, you know, terrible. And we got a real thaw, and the snow kind of went away, and there was just spots of it, you know, and as you can see now, let me turn the camera slow so nobody gets dizzy. As you can see now, the snow is back, but January was really mild, and we were hardly burning any firewood. Typically, I don't know, let me back up a little bit so you can see how big our woodshed is. This is 2 years of wood, this whole shed, okay? So, and we'll burn to the center right there, halfway over a winter, a cold normal winter. And I don't think we're going to burn all our fire, you know. I'm not complaining by any stretch, but we're going to have a lot, I think, unless it turns bitter, and it could. I mean, we could have a cold spring. I doubt we'll use our normal amount of firewood this year, but this is ash. We had emerald ash borers, and they decimated the ash trees and ash trees. That's something that grows in Washington, D.C., an ash tree. These are ash trees. But this is ash like they'd make flooring out of. And they're standing. We have a bunch of them on our property. So they're standing and they're dry. And so I just drop them and cut them up. Renee runs a wood splitter. We split it into firewood. Still have a ton of, I mean, we have almost 40 acres. I have enough fuel, you know, until our government says, no, Bill, you can't, you're destroying the environment. No one can use wood stoves anymore. And like that's going to stop me. I think it's a natural right that we can stay warm by any means. But anyways, this is great firewood. And so not only has the tree been standing dead, then we drop it, and then it's been, we cut this, I think, 2 years ago. So, I mean, it's really dry. Great firewood. So let me fill the cart, and I'll pull it back up to the house, and I'll show you what's going on. Okay, the wood cart is filled. The tarp is down and batting the hatches on the woodshed. And then this is something, folks. Look at this. This is impressive. What is that right there? Don't see a lot of sunshine in Michigan in the winter. And when it comes out, you better have sunglasses because it's snow. It gets really bright, blinding. And you need to take your vitamin D in the winters and in the northern climates, because I mean the sun, you know, it's just overcast for the winter. But I did my duty. I filled the wood cart, so I'm in good. Oh, and you know what they say? you know, there's always different humor for different parts of the country. And when it comes to firewood, everybody loves a good piece of ash. It's a fact. I've heard that many times. Great firewood. I'm sorry, Lord, I shouldn't have said that. So, there's the hacienda. I'm going to leave both of those articles. They're really good. Read them both. As a pinned comment here in this video. The one on our government overprinting our money, which is, somebody brought up a good point in that article. It's taxation without representation. They're stealing our personal property. And then the other one on the British, how they were counterfeiting our money. At first, the paper was too thick. You could easily tell that it was fake if you knew what you were looking for. They even had security measures in the paper back then, believe it or not. But then they captured Philadelphia, and that's where the printing press was and the real paper. So then they could really go to town printing, you know, dollars, printed off, you know, the right paper and the right printing press. So you couldn't tell the difference. But it was our government back then that started overprinting our money and ran us into hyperinflation. So not worth a Continental. You know what that is now. I think most of the crowd here knows most of this stuff, but I like sharing history. It's fun. Love our founding history.